it's perfect. We're talking about fashion, we are talking about luxury, we're talking about how this industry is changing. And some crazy news for the fashion industry just dropped. LVMH is actually selling part of their portfolio. Basically, LVMH is the one of the biggest, together with Kering, but one of the biggest fashion maisons. They actually own so many of the luxury brands that you are for sure know about. They own Louis Vuitton, Dior, Loewe, Givenchy, Celine. They even own things on the beauty industry, like Fenty from Rihanna, Makeup Forever, or all of this, even Rimowa, okay, and even some spirits and alcoholic. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, the luxury fashion industry is in full crisis mode. And they are just like, let me try to survive. So basically, what it's going on and why this was such a oh moment for all the people at fashion is because if you think about it, LVMH, it's done by acquisition. So this is how big conglomerate businesses are made. And LVMH is just one of the examples. It's the first time in the last 40 years they are steady. I'm going to bring a little bit of context now so that you understand a little bit why fashion, specifically LVMH, is in this situation. The reality that the luxury fashion industry is not at the greatest year. So that we already talked a little bit about this one on the previous video. Just think about last year, 2025. It was insane. How many changes from different creative directors has been done from one fashion maison to another one, then this one here and then the other one there. So let me just give you few of the biggest changes that happened last year on the creative direction from fashion industry. Jonathan Anderson moved from Loewe to Dior. Then at Loewe, it entered Jack and Lázaro Hernández. Then Maria Gracia, who used to be at Dior, went to Fendi. And now we left Balenciaga after so many years entering Gucci. And then Pier Paolo entering Balenciaga, who left Anticip at Valentino, where Pier Paolo used to work. Then Dario Vitale entering Versace, where Donatella Versace used to be for I cannot even remember another person Versace before. And also, Matthew Blazy left Bottega Veneta and went to Chanel, which honestly, I think together with Jonathan Anderson, my two favorite creative directors today. I just want to clarify that these changes are in LVMH and in Kering. So let me give you these three reasons that caused this whole disaster. So we need to go back when the things were great at luxury fashion, okay? There were definitely a specific audience segment. The Chinese market has been a growing market for many years in a row until it didn't, okay? LVMH at that time, the Asian market besides Japan, represent 28% of the revenue. That's insane. So when everything was going perfectly, the rich Chinese people were willing to spend some money on the European luxury brands. Everything was looking amazing. But then in 2024, things changed. The economical aspect in China changed completely. Prices were just growing. The salary, it didn't grow that much. So what is the first thing that you just think about? Like, okay, I need to make some cuts. You probably are going to stop buying luxury. And that was literally what happened. So in 2025, the Asian market dropped, meaning that actually LVMH lost roughly 1.7 billion in Asia share alone. Yes, a lot of money, even for LVMH. So when this whole disaster was happening in China, everyone started looking at the Middle East. Luxury there, like just think about Dubai. Okay, like China, it's struggling. Asia in general is struggling. Now let's focus on the Middle East. But what happened? The belly war. I imagine Bernard Arnault, who is the CEO and chairman of LVMH, saying, what the actual? Unfortunately, as we all know, Middle East is not in the greatest moment of all times. That definitely is affecting, and I'm not only talking about the luxury fashion industry, but just everything in general. And we are all seeing the impact, unfortunately, of the decisions of some few guys up there that decided to jump into this. We are definitely seeing how this is impacting so much the revenue or the expected revenue that they were hoping to get from there. Now the luxury fashion industry is not having such a iconic, such a key market at this moment. It used to be Asia. It used to be Middle East, which leads me to my third reason why this whole thing is a disaster. Here I'm not going to talk about politics. Here I'm not going to talk about economical aspect. Here, I'm going to talk about how we perceive as consumer luxury and how we behave when we are gonna go and do one of these purchases. Luxury fashion has always been playing around being exclusive, being good quality, being elite, being only for a few people, right? This was the actual case back then. How this whole luxury industry started, it was because just few fashion salons were based in Paris or in Europe, and they were doing amazing artisan work. And here I'm talking about really good quality fabrics, really amazing pattern making. This was not available outside of the luxury fashion. So for the rich people at that time, it makes a lot of sense to actually buy it and put their money into luxury pieces because at the end of the day, luxury was tied to quality. Nowadays, this is not even close to being the reality. Right now, luxury fashion has expanded, which obviously as an industry is what you want, right? As a company is what you want. Think of how this started just a story in Paris and now how it's looking. You literally can't find an Hermes store in the airport. So speak about being exclusive. The fact that now anyone, and I'm here, I'm pretty much aware that not anybody can actually buy a luxury piece, but many people at this point can buy a luxury piece, send a message that is not that exclusive anymore. And we all know that the quality is not what it used to be. It's not representing the actual price. The fact that now so many people has stopped buying luxury fashion and instead they are buying from very niche down designers that actually do have a quite high pricing because of course, like doing all the artisan work, having good fabric, having like a final garment piece that is a good quality is costly, you know? We are not talking Shane, we are not talking Temo, we are not talking fast fashion. If you're really looking for quality and luxury, you need to pay the price. Here, I'm not talking about that the prices of the luxury fashion, it should be cheaper, but they should be at the same level of the quality they are offering. And right now, it's not the case. Although luxury is not exclusivity anymore. Anyone literally with a couple of $1,000 could go and enter on a store and then buy the bag of the moment. Luxury is not giving luxury anymore. So taking this into account, how the hell LVMH is going to survive this? Well, they do have a plan, so let me explain you. Basically, they own a big chunk of the most luxurious brands that you can imagine, as I said at the very beginning. And now they are actually going to sell some of them. They are planning to sell the 50% of Fenty Beauty company share that they own and also Makeup Forever, plus many of the spirits as well. Honestly, when I read this, I was like, oh, so they are selling a lot of their beauty and additional type of brands, but not the fashion, like the real life fashion maisons. So like, why this is actually happening? At the end of the day, a beauty brand it can be created from scratch in just a couple of years. Look at Rose, okay? Look at Rare. Look at Kylie Cosmetics. You don't need to have such a long legacy as if you think about Dior or if you think about Chanel. These are all fashion brands that has a full story and that takes so long to build. So thinking as Bernard, the owner of LVMH, and having to sell two different assets of your portfolio, yes, of course, you can start selling some of these fashion maisons like Dior, Louis Vuitton. Although I have to say, Dior and Louis Vuitton are the two that are doing okay-ish in the whole fashion industry at this moment, especially in the LVMH niche. And the rest are really struggling. So basically, Dior and Louis Vuitton are kind of like, why LVMH is not selling Celine instead of Fenty Beauty? Well, the reason is that if you sell one of these big fashion maisons, you can say bye forever. You are never going to be able to buy it back. Okay. It will be so freaking costly. But in the beauty industry, things change. As I said, creating a beauty brand is fast compared to the fashion industry. And at the same time, they get a lot of cash. Also, Bernard has said that a lot of the changes that they have done at the creative director level, it's because they believe that this will be reflected on the upcoming years, so at the end of 2026, but more probably in 2027, so that they want to basically just wait. They are having faith and they are just hoping that actually all the changes that they are doing at the same time in fashion and also selling a lot of the beauty portfolio will put LVMH on a situation that they can have enough cash and that they can survive. Basically, the crisis that not only luxury fashion is going through, all of us are going through this crisis as well. But definitely luxury fashion at the end of the day, if you think about the essentials, luxury all day. So this is a big summary of what the hell is going on now in the luxury industry. Hope that you like it. Please subscribe, comment your feedback. You cannot imagine how much you help me when you actually do that. So please, 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 see you in the next one.